Good evening, this is CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone. With summer upon us and the current spike in violent incidents in Prince George's County, police have unveiled a new crime-fighting initiative. It's called Operation Heatwave. Acting Police Chief Malik Aziz announced the program at a town hall meeting last night. The program has two prongs. One, to reduce violent crime. Two, focuses on crime prevention and engaging youth with seniors. To give you an example of what police are facing, department officials say as of yesterday there have been 63 homicides in Prince George's compared with 35 at the same time last year.
Well, I think the difference in this summer crime plan since I've been here is that we ask for formalized crime plans. Those crime plans have not been delivered, formalized. It's been a word of mouth or just an activity. So this time we wanted to formalize the crime plan, which feeds into our greater violent crime reduction plan that we are gathering information and intelligence on to or laying the groundwork for that to happen.
Aziz says the department will increase manpower as they also target traffic violators, street racing, and property theft. Operation Heatwave goes through September 7th. A year-long Metro theft scheme comes crashing down. The suspect's name is David Wright. The former WMATA employee worked in the inventory department at a Metro facility in Prince George's County. Today, State's Attorney Aisha Braveboy announced that Wright, who lives in Laurel, has been indicted in connection with the scheme. Investigators say between December 2018 and January 2019, Wright was stealing fuel injectors that are used on Metro buses and other mechanical items. Here's how prosecutors say the scheme worked.
Wright stole various bus engine parts to include fuel injectors, valves, and sensors from WMATA's inventory. The investigation also revealed that Wright sold parts online to various businesses and/or individuals.
He was selling them to what we believe is unwitting participants in the scheme, and we were able to track that to determine where they came from.
There is currently a warrant out for Wright's arrest. If found guilty, he faces up to 20 years behind bars. Well, members of the public weigh in on a bill that would require the Montgomery County Police Department to regularly review body camera footage. The measure was sparked by the treatment of a 5-year-old boy who was briefly handcuffed and berated by county officers last year. Councilmember Tom Hucker introduced the legislation after the public release of video showing what he said was horrible abuse of the child after he had walked away from his elementary school. During the encounter, you can hear one of the officers say to the crying boy, quote, "I hope your mama lets me beat you."
It's so horrible to watch two uniformed police officers screaming in the face of this 5-year-old child when he was crying because he was terrified. They were trying to get him to stop crying by just literally like mocking him, screaming directly in his face. They also handcuffed him. They called him a little beast. And after they put him he had wandered off campus away from his elementary school. And so that's why they were called. But once they arrived on the scene, instead of just walking him a block down the street back to the school and turning him over to the school officials, they sat in the principal's office, they berated the kid. And then when the mom showed up to apologize and say how she could help, they coached the mom on they said openly to the mom, "We want you to beat him more often," and she said, "Oh, that was surprising or whatever." And they said, "No, here's how to beat him so that you don't get a child abuse charge."
Footage of the incident was not seen outside of the department until this March, after the boy's mother filed a lawsuit against the school system and Montgomery County. The police transparency bill would automatically turn over some footage to the police chief, county executive, state's attorney, and council members. Well, over 2 consecutive days this past Sunday and Monday, there were 0 COVID fatalities in Maryland. Sadly, today, state health officials are reporting 8 COVID-19 deaths. The statewide death toll now stands at 9,498. Meantime, 49 new cases have been confirmed, and 146 people are currently hospitalized with the virus. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Patricia Vallone. Coming up, the fight for D.C. statehood gets a key hearing. We'll have the details next.
For the latest information on COVID-19 in Maryland, visit the State Health Department website. That's health.maryland.gov. Again, health.maryland.gov. Click the link to the COVID-19 information portal. There you'll find all the latest information about coronavirus. You'll find daily updates on cases and fatalities. Answers to questions about testing and the governor's stay-at-home order are available as well. For specific information about Prince George's, visit princegeorgescountymd.gov. That's princegeorgescountymd.gov. The site offers information about local services for residents and businesses. There's a link for COVID-19 relief donations. Also, food pantry locations are listed. And if you have any questions, call the county COVID-19 hotline at 301-883-6627. That's 301-883-6627.
Welcome back. Prince George's police need your help locating a missing Upper Marlboro man. This is 67-year-old George Irving Jr. He was last seen in the 11,000 block of Abbotswood Court yesterday afternoon. Irving is 6 feet tall and weighs about 240 pounds. He was last seen wearing a gray T-shirt and blue sweatpants. Anyone with information on Irving's whereabouts is asked to contact police. And the push for D.C. statehood continues. The Senate's Homeland Security Committee held a hearing today on the matter. Supporters, including Mayor Muriel Bowser, testified in favor of making the District of Columbia a state. You may recall that the House passed legislation known as H.R. 51 back in April. The bill would make D.C. the nation's 51st state, known as Washington Douglas Commonwealth.
The Constitution left the issue of democracy for residents of the District of Columbia to the Congress. The House of Representatives has passed the Washington, D.C. Admission Act twice, and the White House has indicated its support for the bill through a statement of administration policy. Our democracy is truly in the hands of this Senate. It is the time for the U.S. Senate to support the D.C. petition for statehood.
According to a recent, very detailed poll, this is the greatest support for D.C. statehood in the nation's history. Congress has both the moral obligation and the constitutional authority to pass our D.C. statehood bill.
And this was the second time the Senate held a hearing on D.C. statehood. The first ever hearing was back in 2014. Well, in the wake of criticism over Governor Hogan's decision to cut federal jobless benefits early, state officials now say they found more than 500,000 unemployment claims over the past 6 weeks that could be fraudulent. Hogan says in all, the state has identified more than 1 million fake claims since the beginning of the pandemic. A Labor Department spokesperson could not say how many of the potentially fake claims have been verified as fraudulent. The agency has reported the claims to federal law enforcement, which would be responsible for investigating and pursuing legal action. But the list of candidates for Maryland governor is growing. The latest candidate is John Barron. The Democrat, a Capitol Hill veteran, is making his first run for public office. Barron says he wants to spur the Maryland economy by providing back-to-work bonuses. He's also proposing a statewide tutoring program for struggling students. And the Democrat wants to offer incentives for youth job training programs. It's full speed ahead for MARC trains. The Maryland commuter train is resuming full service in August. Service was cut back last year after ridership dropped significantly because of the pandemic. Meantime, fare hikes are slated to take effect this month, but the governor is authorizing MARC to use federal funds to offset the increases. And we will be right back with more news in just a moment. Stay tuned.
If I could be you, and you could be me, for just 1 hour, if we could find a way to get inside each other's minds, if you could see you through my eyes instead of your ego, I believe you'd be surprised to see that you've been blind. Walk walk a mile in my shoes, walk a mile in my shoes. Yeah, before you abuse, criticize and accuse, walk a mile in my shoes, walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize and accuse, walk a mile in my shoes.
Thanks for staying with us. So the nation's high court sides with former college athletes in a compensation dispute with the National Collegiate Athletic Association. The unanimous Supreme Court decision means the NCAA cannot limit education-related benefits like computers or paid internships that colleges offer sports stars. The victory for athletes could open the door to further easing a long fight over student-athlete pay and could lead to top athletes getting tens of thousands of dollars in benefits. The case did not decide whether students can directly be paid salaries. Travel across the nation is expected to increase 40% over the Independence Day holiday compared with last year. According to AAA Mid-Atlantic, Maryland travel is expected to be the highest volume on record. Locally, more than 1 million drivers are forecast to break the previous July 4th record. That was 960,000 set in 2019. More than 67,000 Marylanders are planning to fly over the holiday, reaching 86% of the pre-pandemic 2019 level. Well, the county kicks off a new initiative to give youth ages 12 to 18 a variety of safe and fun activities to do over the next few months. The Summer Passport experience is multifaceted with activities offered based on the 3 E's: education, entrepreneurship, and entertainment. Everything from drones to plumbing to bike rodeos will be offered.
And one of the things, of course, we realized, especially during this global pandemic, is so many of our young people have suffered. That they have been isolated from their friends, they've been inside, they've been really unable to engage in the way that young people should be able to engage. And it means that in some instances, our young people have made choices to be involved in things that we don't want them involved in. And so rather than just complain about it, we thought that we would put programming together to assist the parents, to assist our young people, and to make sure that they have opportunities to be constructively engaged.
Registration officially opened yesterday. For more information, log on to eventbrite.com and search for Alsobrook's Summer Passport Experience. The city of Bowie is back with its annual farmers market. The market will feature local vendors selling their goods like vegetables, jam, seafood, sauce, coffee, and candles. Due to the pandemic, residents were required to wear a mask last year. But officials say this year they have dropped face covering and social distancing guidelines.
I have kept the market wide and vendors separated. So if you don't feel comfortable with crowds still, there's plenty of room to walk around. Go see the vendors when the booths are open, and keep your distancing to make yourself feel safe. We do try to keep that in mind. All of the vendors have hand sanitizers at their station that you can always use to clean your hands.
The city's market will be open every Sunday through October from 8 a.m. until noon. The market is located in the parking lot of Bowie High School in the 15,000 block of Annapolis Road. And now let's get a check of your weather forecast. Tonight, the rain will clear. Lows will be about 55. Tomorrow, sunny skies, highs in the 70s. Thursday, that sunshine continues, highs around 80. And Friday, partly sunny with a chance of showers, highs in the 80s. And for your community calendar, the Greater Bowie Chamber of Commerce is accepting applications for the Youth Leadership Bowie program. The program is for rising sophomores and juniors who live in Bowie and attend Bowie High School. Applications are due by June 30th. You can visit bowiechamber.org to download the application or call 301-262-0920 for more information. And that is your CTV News Update. I'm Patricia Villa, and have a great evening.